Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Jim Tanner. I'm going to be your host today. We're just giving everybody a chance to get logged in here. We're about 35, 40 seconds away from the top of the hour. Appreciate you being here. Again, my name is Jim Tanner. You're going to have access to the chat. You will not, unless you're one of my co-hosts helping me out with the panel tonight, you won't have the ability to turn on your camera or unmute. But you do have access to the chat, and we'd love to have you join us in the chat and share where you're zooming in from. I'm here today live from the suburbs of Boston, Massachusetts. Normally, I would say about 18 minutes west of Fenway Park, because everybody seems to know the Red Sox. But tonight, while the Celtics are making history, we could say about 30 minutes west of the incredible TD Garden Arena, where we hope that they'll be hanging another banner very, very soon. But again, my name is Jim Tanner. We see Sonora Danzler's in from Colorado, and we've got folks joining us literally from across the United States and probably into Canada as well. Happy Memorial Day to everybody here in the United States. I hope that you've had a phenomenal weekend. You're rested, you're invigorated, you're excited for the week ahead. And I'm here to talk to you today. So those of you that are guests, you've been invited by somebody that saw this information and wanted to share it with you. They wanted to pay it forward. And this is information that I saw for the first time almost 20 years ago, a little over 19 years ago. I saw what you're about to see. So it's my absolute honor, privilege, and pleasure to be the one sharing it with you today, because while I'm going to share a few nuggets about my story as I go, we're here to talk about a story that you can create for yourself with an opportunity called PPLSI. And I'm going to share with you our flagship products. But before I do that, as I get going, I just want to acknowledge, and I think that we all understand this, the world has completely changed. You know, today, people want the opportunity not to work from home. That's what we used to say. When I got started in this business, I was excited about having the ability to be my own boss and work from home. But today, people want to work from anywhere. This is a work from anywhere revolution. And folded into that is not just the ability to be wherever somebody wants to be, to have the technology built in so that they can operate a business from anywhere, but they want an opportunity to earn income, to have flexibility, to have the time to make choices that they otherwise wouldn't make. In other words, they want independence. And in these uncertain times we've had over the last several years with COVID-19 and lockdowns and all of the things that have gone into that, all the uncertainty that we've had, one thing that hasn't been uncertain is the belief in ourselves as entrepreneurs to go out and forge a new path. And as a matter of fact, we've seen more people opening businesses over these last few years than ever before. Now, why is that? Well, because people want choice. They want options, they want opportunities. And I'll bet that you watching this today, you've accepted this invitation because you are keeping your options open for a new plan B, maybe to earn some extra income, to create a new source of income for your family. Perhaps you want to refill your retirement accounts, or you want to start to save for retirement, or maybe you have children in school and you're starting to see colleges on the horizon, and so you want to start to shore up your savings. Some of you are looking for a new plan A. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for a new plan A. In other words, I wanted a complete career change. And when I saw the information that I get to share with you today, I saw that opportunity for myself. And I'll tell you why, by the way. It's because me personally, when I saw this information, again, almost 20 years ago, I was working and commuting with 2 jobs, 80 hours a week. And I wasn't getting ahead. And what I learned in the process of that frustration was that I just wasn't working for the right kind of income. So let me just suggest to you, are you working for the right kind of income? Because here in America, there's really 3 forms of income. There's linear income, which is what I've always done before I got started as a business owner. I traded my time for money. I literally punched a clock. You know, some of you are younger, you've seen that in a movie, but a thing where you pull a handle and it punches a card. I've done that in my life. I would trade time for money. The problem with that, as I learned, was that at some point you run out of time that you can trade for money. And sometimes you do have the time, like you're willing to work overtime or work on the weekends or work an extra day or a few more hours, but then you're prevented that because of politics or somebody has been at the job longer than you. And so they get those extra hours that you could have gotten. And so I'll just be honest, I was totally frustrated by that. And I was routinely, even though I was working and commuting with a full-time job and a part-time job and the driving back and forth, spending 80 hours a week. I couldn't pay my bills. I was routinely choosing between gas for my car and food. And I said there had to be a better way. And so that's when I learned that there's other types of income. There's leveraged income, for example, where you can work with a team and you can have the income potential that's leveraged, because now you're working collaboratively and cooperatively with other professional people. And by the way, that's a mechanism of wealth, leverage, being able to do something one time and be able to see more of a gain from it than just that one time trading time for money, and then residual income. And some of you already understand residual income because you've written a book and you get royalties, or you have a patent and you're getting royalties or licensing from that patent. But 95% of Americans have no form of residual income. And that's a situation where you do something one time and you get paid on that again and again, over and over. I'm going to show you that today. I want to show you what the 5% of Americans are realizing that the 95% aren't. So let's dig into this. And by the way, again, I acknowledge that a lot of you are here, you're looking to see what your options are. And I would suggest to you that whatever you're looking at, there's 5 areas that you have to evaluate. You've got to have a company that's rock solid. I'm going to introduce you to our company here in a moment. There also has to be a need for what that company does in the marketplace. It has to speak to the market. The products, and I'm going to show you our flagship products, have to just make sense. They have to be priced right. They have to solve a problem. And then the pricing has to be within reach of the people that need that problem solved. There has to be fair, and I would say, frankly, lucrative compensation for you as an entrepreneur so that it makes sense, so that the money is exciting enough for you to learn some new skills, get focused in a new area. And then you also have to have the right timing. Fact is, you can be too soon, you can be too late. And the T of timing is far more important than the T in the word talent. So let me take you through my company here. I'm going to do this briefly, but this is the founder of our company. His name was Harlan Stonecipher. Now, Mr. Stonecipher is no longer with us, but this company that he founded over a half century ago started with the car accident you also see on your screen. Mr. Stonecipher was hit. He was in this car accident. He was hit by a woman who ran through an intersection. And even though she got all of the tickets and he was in the hospital clinging to life, she sued him, even though she was at fault, according to the Highway Patrol. And Mr. Stonecipher had his life savings drained defending the lawsuit that this woman brought upon him. Now, Mr. Stonecipher, before this accident, he was a full-time school teacher in rural Oklahoma, and also he had a part-time career selling life insurance. So as he tells the story in his own autobiography, he said, listen, I had car insurance to replace the car. That was no problem. I had medical insurance for all the time that I was in the hospital. They repaired me. I was okay. I even had life insurance in the event that I hadn't survived the accident. My family would have been okay. But as he said in his own words, I had nothing to protect myself from this situation where the legal system drained me. And he said that there must be something that I could have put in place to protect myself and my family. And so he went searching for it. When he realized that it didn't exist, Mr. Stonecipher did what so few other people would do. From his own kitchen table in rural Oklahoma, he set out to change the justice system. And today, from that car accident, our company was born in 1972. That's our corporate headquarters in rural Ada, Oklahoma, that houses 700 employees. And from there, we protect 4.4 million people in the United States and Canada. Now, you may have never heard of our company before today, and you may have never heard of the products I'm about to show you, but we've been written up in Forbes and Yahoo Finance, CNBC, and Bloomberg. And we were traded on the American Stock Exchange, then onto the NASDAQ, finally the New York Stock Exchange, before a company called MidOcean Partners took us private through a $650 million acquisition. And now today, MidOcean and Stone Point and our other private equity partners value our company at $2 billion. So what is it that this company does that started from a car accident on a side road in Oklahoma? Well, we provide equal access to liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that every human deserves. That was the vision of our founder. And now 51 years later, we continue working on that vision today, bringing equal access to equal justice to every corner of every community. We do that through something called disruptive innovation. And here's all you need to know about disruptive innovation. It makes something simpler, easier, and more affordable. And here's some examples so you can just kind of wrap your mind around that. You remember shopping at the mall. When you needed something, you'd go to the mall, you'd go to the stores around town, you'd look for the right color, the right size, and you'd try to find the best price. And you'd hope to find something of high enough quality. And you'd zigzag around town and often come up empty. Well, that's what we used to do. But today we just tap a few apps on our own phone on the Amazon app or other things, Target and other similar things, right? And with Amazon, in 48 hours, that item you touched on your own phone arrives at your doorstep. Some places it's 24 hours. And around here where I live, sometimes it's the same day. What did they do to become $1 trillion business? Well, they just made something we were already doing simpler, easier, and more affordable. Shopping or buying music CDs is the same thing, right? Spotify stepped in. Now we don't have to go to the music store, buy the whole album when we want to hear a song. Every song, every podcast, every audio we could ever imagine is at the tip of our fingertips whenever we want it on our own mobile phone. And that's exactly what our flagship product Legal Shield does, because it gives you that same access, but to the justice system. And now some of you are saying, well, listen, Jim, I don't break the law. I don't need attorneys. How could this matter to me? But let me ask you a question. It's not about if you break the law. It's about if you live in this economy. For example, have you ever thought about writing or revising your will? Maybe you've been notified that your information or a family member's personal information was compromised in a cyber attack. Maybe you've been treated unfairly, pushed around by a big box store or some other company, and you've had to say those words that we know don't help. Let me speak to your supervisor. Maybe you've been a victim of a breach or identity theft. You've had a contract placed in front of you that you didn't understand, and you signed it, or you clicked agree on a screen and you regretted it later. Maybe you've got a speeding ticket, and whether you just signed that ticket and admitted guilt, mailed it in because you didn't have time to go to traffic court, or you did go to traffic court, you sat there and waited for hours so that you could have your voice heard. The point is that these are things that happen to us all every day. And that's just a few examples. Maybe you've had an insurance claim denied. You've had questions about your credit score. You wonder what your rights are when you buy a defective product, or you buy a product and it's delivered to you defective. Maybe you've had your social media accounts hacked. A good friend of mine today was just telling me about the complete disaster. Someone has taken over her Facebook account and she's fighting and trying to figure out how to get it back. Well, that's why I'm here to share with you what our products do. Because remember, I said you got to have a company that's rock solid, stood the test of time. Well, we've got that. But you also have to have products that speak to the market. And this is our Legal Shield mobile app. This app on your phone, on your family member's phone, changes everything. Because just for example, let's say that you were my attorney. And instead of charging me $300, $400, $500 to $100 an hour when I need you, I come to you and I say, let's make a deal. I just want you to quote me one flat monthly price. I'll write you a check once a month, and I want you to take care of everything I need. And here's what I want you to take care of. I want you to give me personal legal advice on an unlimited number of matters. I don't want to Google it. I don't want to wonder what to do. I don't want to talk to a friend at work that's not a lawyer. I want a real lawyer that's an expert in the area of law that I have a question in to answer that question for me, so I always know what my rights are, so I always know where I stand on every single issue. But that's not all. I want you to review every contract before I sign it, because contracts that are put in front of me are prepared by somebody else's attorney to make sure that it's fair to them. And I want the same power for me that they have. So I want you to review every document before I sign it. I also want you to write letters and make phone calls for me every time I'm being treated unfairly. And let me just tell you a quick story. I don't have a tremendous amount of time tonight, but I have hundreds of stories of how I've used Legal Shield in my life. But I'll tell you, the first time I ever used my plan, I was 19 years old. I had just signed up for a plan. Now, in another environment, I'll tell you big stories about all the different ways I've used it. But listen to this just one time. At 19 years old, when I first became a member of this incredible service, I was moving out of an apartment. And my landlord told me that I couldn't have my security deposit back. Now, some of you have been through that. And by the way, I didn't break a lease. I didn't damage the property. I didn't have pets. I lived alone. I was moving. I was right to move. He came up with a reason that he felt he could keep my security deposit. And he said I would never see that money. Those were his words. So I remembered I just signed up for this service called Legal Shield. I called into my law firm to find out what I should do, because I saw, just like you see on the screen, personal legal advice. Well, not only did they give me advice, but they said, listen, Mr. Tanner, they treat me with great respect, by the way. I was 19 years old. They called me Mr. Tanner. They called me sir. They treated me with respect. They said, we're going to take care of this for you. They overnighted a letter, FedEx, to that landlord, letting him know that they were my attorneys. And this was a letter from my law firm with all of their names across the top of the letterhead. They faxed me a copy at work so I could see it. It was pretty cool. And the moment he opened that letter and saw that I had legal representation, and by the way, that letter demanded that he return that money to me immediately. And that's exactly what he did. He called me up on the phone. He called me at work. I'll never forget. He said, Jim, come and get a check. I don't want any problem from your attorneys. That is a powerful, and by the way, I was 19 years old when I first got this membership. I got it from somebody that came into where I delivered furniture at work, signed me up for a plan. This was the first time I ever used it. I had a $500 check less than 24 hours after that landlord told me I'd never see that money, which allowed me to move on with my day and move on with my life. And you know, I've been a member of this plan since I was a kid. I've never operated in the economy as an adult and been pushed around because I've had Legal Shield. And I'm so grateful for it. And by the way, that's why 10 years later, I got involved in this business when I saw what I'm sharing with you today. So that's just one way. And I've got hundreds of stories. But again, it's not about you breaking the law. It's about whether or not you have a voice in advocacy every day of your life. So again, let me go back to the example. You're my attorney. And I say, in addition to all of that, I want you to write my will. And I want you to update it every year. And I want you to give me a living will, power of attorney. I want you to take care of all of my estate planning. And the reason I want you to update it every year is because every year the laws change. And by the way, you know, stuff changes in my life. Like every time somebody gets married, gets divorced, has a kid, has a grandkid, retires, starts a new job, buys a house, sells a house, buys a car, sells a car, you need a new will. So I don't just want you to write it. I want you to update it every year for me at no additional charge. I want you to go and represent me in traffic court. Whether I get that ticket down the street from my house or all the way across the country, I want you to represent me. I want you to go to traffic court, speak to the judge, tell them that you're my attorney, and see what you can get done. Because I know the power of that. Having an attorney standing in traffic court, when so few other people have that, by the way, I want that power. I want you to take care of me if I have a civil trial defense issue, if the IRS comes knocking. I want you to take care of me in an emergency situation. Listen carefully to me. I want you to be there for me 24/7, me and my entire family, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including Christmas and Easter and New Year's Day and all the other holidays. Because when something happens, when I'm being arrested, questioned, detained, when there's a tragic accident, when one of my kids are in the wrong place at the wrong time, I want to know that I don't have to wait until your office opens the next morning. So I want that peace of mind. And I want you to do uncontested divorce and adoption, separation, name change, all of that stuff that might come up in my life. Now, let me ask you this question. You're my attorney. That's what I need you to do on a flat monthly rate. What are you going to charge me for that? And by the way, I've asked this question, and we've had people say thousands of dollars a month, tens of thousands of dollars a month. As a matter of fact, one time in Vermont, I was doing this presentation and an attorney was in the room and said, Jim, I would never even quote you a price because I have no idea how much you would need me and you could bankrupt my law firm. But that's exactly what Legal Shield does. And they do it for $1 a day for your whole family. This mobile app for $29.95 a month lets you live your life virtually worry-free. And again, who gets this app on their phone? Everybody, the whole family, the member, the spouse, or domestic partner, your never married dependent children under the age of 26 living at home, or full-time students, dependent children under the age of 18 for whom the member is the legal guardian, and physically or mentally disabled children living at home. $1 a day. Let me go back a slide. I want to make sure you understand that. And by the way, some of you are thinking like, what kind of lawyer do I get for $1 a day? But remember, it's not your dollar a day or my dollar a day. It's the combined buying power of 4.4 million people that are participating in this membership, which means that we get the best attorneys. And these attorneys we have service level agreements so that they are contacting us and taking care of us when we need them, whenever we need them. And again, as I said, in an emergency, 24 hours a day. That's powerful. Now, our other flagship product, because I don't have a lot of time, is called ID Shield. So we have Legal Shield and we have ID Shield. And ID Shield does exactly what you're thinking a product called ID Shield does. It's a mobile app that monitors what matters to you, your credit score, all your social security number, your passport, your driver's license, all of your vital information, because you want to have this monitoring in place. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Some of you are homeowners. You're saying, well, listen, I think I have something like that through my homeowner's policy. Some of you are saying, I think I got something like that with my credit card. I think I have that in my credit union or my bank. But I want you to just listen carefully to what I'm going to say, because while monitoring is important, and this mobile app certainly does this, there's over 100 companies that can give you monitoring that's good, that tells you what's going on. And you want to know what the problems are as soon as they arise. You want to know if your information is in the dark web. You want to know if someone gets a hold of your vital information. And by the way, I just want to make sure everybody understands this. Your good name is what we're talking about. Your identity is not your credit score. Although your credit score is important, your identity is your name, your brand in the community. And that's what identity thieves want. They don't want your credit score. They want who you are. And so you want great monitoring, but that's where everything else on the market stops. But with ID Shield, you also get comprehensive restoration, because nobody can stop identity theft. And so what you get is you get the monitoring plus licensed private investigators that will do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to restore your identity, your good name in the community to the pre-theft status. That's powerful peace of mind for you and your entire family. And if you're an individual, you can get this for $19.95 a month. And if you're a family, that's $34.95 a month. And a family is the member, the spouse, or domestic partner, and up to 10 dependent children under the age of 18. So that's powerful. Now, I'm here to share with you the business opportunity. So I'm talking about the company, our flagship products, but I just wanted to stop on this slide for a second, because when you have these products that speak to the marketplace, and I just showed you Legal Shield and ID Shield, both of those products together, which is the way most people sign up, $64.90 a month for both plans for the whole family. So everybody in the family gets this mobile app on their phone and the peace of mind of knowing that everybody's covered. But Member Perks is how we can show you a way that you can offset the investment in Legal Shield and ID Shield with savings on brands you're probably doing business with right now, and you can save money on stuff you're already buying. Member Perks saves my family every month more than the investment in our Legal Shield and ID Shield membership. And what is Member Perks? Well, it's as simple as this. When you have millions of customers like we do, then the biggest brands on planet Earth want to do business with those customers. So the way that they do that is they give you deep discounts so that you'll do business with them, and we call that Member Perks. So whether it's travel or fitness, computers and the software that runs them, whatever it is, you're going to find ways to save money through Member Perks. Sometimes it's entertainment, like going to an amusement park or a movie theater. Sometimes it's serious business, like the equipment you buy to run your business, computers and printers and things like that. Sometimes it's your travel, and you'll see all of that is available in Member Perks. But I'm running low on time, so I want to show you how we get paid, because you were invited here to learn about the business of this business. And while the membership changed my life when I was 19 years old, 10 years later, I discovered the opportunity, and I'm excited to share this with you. This is our compensation plan. And I just want to show you, because I want to show you how the money gets made. Remember, this $64.90 membership speaks to people in the United States and Canada that are living their lives. It's not people who break the law. It's not people that have certain high-risk situations. It's all of us living our lives every day. Most people never use attorneys because they can't afford attorneys, not because they don't need them. But if you didn't have to check your rights every time, if you didn't have to check your bank account every time you wanted to check on your rights, you would have access to your rights more often. So that's why our business model makes so much sense. And as a new associate, just for sharing the fact that Legal Shield and ID Shield exists, having somebody go to your website and sign up for the services so that they can get this protection for their family, as a brand new associate, you're earning $70 every time somebody signs up. So you're a new associate, you sign up a new family, you earn $70. And by the way, you decide when you get promoted, because when you sign up 3 families, you can get promoted to the senior associate level. And I, in the world that I lived in before I came to this company, someone else always decided when I got promoted. But when I came here, I was finally in charge. And I love that, and I want that for you as well. So let me show you something very interesting. So again, if the whole opportunity was somebody gets the services, they protect their family, they get the peace of mind of living life worry-free for $64.90 a month, and you earn $70, that'd be a great opportunity. But that's where it begins, because you also can get promoted to the next level with just a few families protected. Now you're earning $90 every time someone signs up for these services through your recommendation. And if you do that in your first 20 days in the business, you also get a fast start bonus of $100. Now, $100 isn't going to change your zip code. But we have bonuses that are $100. We have a bonus program right now that pays out up to $100,000 in 2023. And I'll tell you this, how you do anything is how you do everything. So that's why I always encourage people to pick up every bonus that's on the table, because it just sets you up to pick up all the bonuses that are coming next. So let me take you to the next step in our compensation plan, the top of our plan, which is executive director. Qualify monthly for executive director and earn $370 for each of these 6490 plans that you sign up. Listen, sign up 5 a month and earn an extra $1,850 a month. That's a nice part-time income. But if you did that same activity weekly instead of monthly, you could earn $96,200 a year. That's nearly a 6-figure income, just sharing, again, with 5 families a week that they can get these protections in place. And you can also build a team, just like an insurance broker or a real estate broker. You can have a team of people, and they can be anywhere in the US, 50 states. They can be anywhere in Canada as well. And you can earn up to $300 every time somebody on your team protects a family with these services. So let's say I'm a new associate on your team and I make a sale and you're my executive director. You earn $300. I do that 5 times a month. You're earning over $1,000 in overrides. What if you had 5 of me? What if you had 10 of me? So now you can see why so many people are succeeding in our business and why it's changing so many lives. And by the way, what we do is very important and serious work, and bringing equal access to justice to every community matters. And so the products are very serious, and the income, as you can see, is very serious. But also, we like to have fun, and we have these fun programs and incentives. We have something called Performance Club. It's just one of our incentive programs where you can earn an additional $500 every single month just by being Performance Club qualified. That second job that I had at the mall, when I delivered furniture during the day and then I went and worked at the mall in the evenings, that didn't pay me an extra $6,000 a year. And I did that as many days a week as they would take me. But Performance Club, just this one incentive program where you protect 2 to 4 families a month and qualify for Performance Club, can pay you up to an additional $6,000 a year. And it's also the qualifier for trips around the world, which is why you're seeing that picture. Because just in the last handful of years, my family has been to Cancun, to Jamaica, to Atlantis in the Bahamas. We just got back from Hawaii. That was our trip last year, and we're preparing to go to Mexico in a few weeks. These trips are all expenses paid, no expenses spared for you and a guest, and that's through our Performance Club program. So let me just recap, because I'm going to come to the bottom of the hour here, and I'm going to talk to you about kind of how you can get started with us. But we talked about the company, a company 51 years in business, started from need, not from greed, from a real problem that our founder found himself facing, looked around and said, everybody has the same problem. There's no solution in the market. And he stepped up, and his pioneering vision brought us to who we are today, a $2 billion company 51 years later. Is there a need in the marketplace? There was when Harlan Stonecipher had that accident. There absolutely is today. Do our products make sense? As a disruptive innovation, Legal Shield and ID Shield just absolutely makes sense. You know why? Because even if you have attorneys in your family, even if you have attorneys that you know personally from the golf course, you don't have an attorney that's an expert in every area of law. And you don't have attorneys that practice in all 50 states and every province in Canada. And you don't have thousands of attorneys working on your behalf all the time. And you don't have the accountability that's built into the Legal Shield system, where the attorneys have to get back to you in a few hours. They have to give you a satisfactory answer. They have to be responsive to your needs as a customer. Nobody has that. We built a system, and there's nothing like it. It's called a provider attorney network, and it is the only one in existence. Does the compensation make sense? With a 1-year advance commission and the ability to earn residual income on every membership, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, for the life of the membership. You could sign somebody up one time and get paid on that membership every month forever, as long as that person remains a member. The first membership I sold 19 plus years ago is still on the books today. And that woman loves her membership. She would never be without it. And I've been getting paid every month ever since. Now that's residual income, and most people don't have access to that. So do we have great compensation? Absolutely. And what about the timing? Your timing could not be better, because today, with 4.4 million customers, with 35,000 businesses allowing us to step into their job sites and enroll their employees in Legal Shield and ID Shield to protect themselves and their families, you are in the right place at the right time. We have proven the market. Now it's time to take us from 4.4 million to 44 million. We'd love for you to be there with us. You can start part-time, work from anywhere. It's a business that's willable. It's your book of business. You own it because you're the business owner. The residual incomes come in for the life of the membership. We have training called Fast Start to help you get going right away. Ongoing weekly trainings, mentorship, and coaching. And it's a business that you can start for only $49. Now I know what you're thinking. Why isn't it $49,000? Why isn't it $4,900? Why isn't it even $490? And I understand because I have to answer that question all the time. Actually, that $49 setup fee is actually less than the administrative costs associated with getting you set up, turning on your website, setting up your direct deposit, getting you established as an independent associate. But right now, because our company is so serious about growth, they've reduced the one-time registration fee to below the administrative costs. Now, this is for a short time only, and I would wish for you to take advantage of it. So here's what you have to do to get started. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next. Number one, you're going to get back to the person that invited you to this presentation today. And so if they're sitting next to you, give them a hug, because that's what I would do if I were you. And they're probably not. They're probably somewhere else. So text them and tell them you're here and that you're watching the presentation, that you're ready to get started. And what they're going to do is they're going to send you a link to their website so you can enroll in the membership, protect your family with Legal Shield and ID Shield. You can also become an associate. That's a one-time $49 associate setup fee right now if you act now. And then what we're going to do is I want you to come back. We're going to take a 5-minute break so you can go and do this because it takes 3 minutes. So I'm giving you a couple extra minutes so that you can text back and forth and get the link. But come back, and in 5 minutes from now, we're going to do a getting started training. I'm going to do it in just a handful of minutes. I've been here 2 decades almost. I know exactly how to launch your business, and I'm going to help you launch your business. So go get signed up and then come back here in 5 minutes. And then I'm going to walk you through the first steps you need to know to be successful in this business. So I'm going to put up a screen here. We're going to do a 5-minute break. Again, get back to the person that invited you. We'll leave the Zoom open. All you have to do is just go ahead back to start signing up. Go back to the person that invited you. They'll give you their website link. We'll get you signed up and you can come back to this screen and we'll start back up here in 5 minutes.